Welcome to another episode of Watch Portraits and Shadows. I like that voice. I should use that voice for something. It is late here in the house of the hobby of ours. Tonight we're going to look at Zodiac watches. A couple gems from their back catalog. And we're also going to look at this really awesome book from my main man Yuri Vakulenko. A rarish book in that this is a book that was self-published by this fellow, this passionate collector of Zodiac watches. This was not a mass-produced book in the same way you might find something in Borders. You gotta respect that. And the blue label is eye candy. Why not? The first watch we'll look at is this GMT one. This Rootbeer quartz piece that is certainly paying homage to the Clint Eastwood Rolex GMT Rootbeer. And it's a gorgeous little piece. Quartz, of course. But I got into this piece because I got into a conversation with a watch friend, GT. And GT is a security guard at an AD. And I just struck up a conversation with him because I was going there so often. Super cool guy. If I'm being honest, I enjoy talking with him more than the salespeople at that particular AD. And this is one of his dream watches, the Rolex version Rootbeer, of course. I myself would go for the Surdy dial. Lots of value in that. And I started hunting this because I started getting curious about it, and I bought it and I took it to him just to show it to him, and it turned out being some benefit to him. He's like, "Oh, this is way too small for me." He's an ex-cop, totally gripped, super cool guy, but he's got a big wrist. And so I think his new dream watch is the Everrose Rootbeer GMT. And I saw one of those at that AD for like, it was rocking 30 G's pre-pandemic. I don't roll that heavy, but if I'd bought it, it's going for 50, 55, 60 now. Even if I dipped it out at 45, I'd be 12 to the plus. But helped a watch buddy determine that a piece was not for him. Now these clasps are not the best in the world. They're stamped pretty rough. But they also have a Pepsi version of this model. And I enjoy wearing it, and it certainly gave me the taste of what a Clint Eastwood would wear like. Even though it's not the same build, quality, etc., gave me a taste of whether or not I would enjoy the two-tone flavor. Yeah, I don't know that I'm going to be dropping 12, 14 grand on a regular, let alone 16, 18 on the Surdy dial Rootbeer GMT. But a good bit of fun nonetheless, and this watch does make an appearance in this here book. Next up is this little baby. This is a red dot sea diver chronograph. You know, basically a diver chronograph. And this red dot series is something that came out in the early 90s. And if you can tell here, let's see if I can get it to focus. This is double stamped, Pelletier and Zodiac. Pelletier is a jeweler in Buenos Aires. Near as I can tell, I don't know if they're still in business, but I jumped on this one because it was double stamped, and we know that double stamped watches hold their value, although I don't know if that's going to happen with this one. I happened to think it was really cool. I started hunting them, and I figured if I can get some added value, why not? Still has the original sticker. But these red dot Zodiacs, they're also white dot, blue dot, and gold dot. It's kind of a bit of a design gimmick by Monin, who was the former director at Heuer. He left Heuer on bad terms. And so when he came over to Zodiac, he borrowed a lot of their design language for the Zodiacs of the early 90s, which is why if you see a number of the Heuer Monin era watches, it's going to look very similar to this. And Tag Heuer and Zodiac had a bit of a rivalry during that time period, although these came in at a lower price point than the Tags. Nothing to see or unbox here. This is empty. Somewhat comically, as I mentioned, it is after dark here at Hobby of Ours. Watch Portraits and Shadows. I should be a voiceover guy. I'm such a goon. So what do we have here with this book? Let's clear the table here and have a better look at what Yuri's been up to. Collecting Vintage Zodiac Watches by Yuri Vakulenko. Seawolf, Skate, Super Seawolf, Sea Chronon, Aeronaut, Aerospace. I had an Aerospace back in the day. Let's see what we got up in here. Ooh, I like what I see. A lot of references. And the majority of what this book is made up of is advertisements and catalogs from back in the day that are most certainly not available out of print. So if you're hunting vintage Zodiac, I'm pretty sure I bought this off of Yuri off of eBay. Oh, how'd that get there? There we have our little GMT root beer. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he was the seller, so check him out. I should give him a shout out and let him know I'm doing an episode about his really lovely little book here. This would have been amazing if I had it when I was hunting my Zodiacs. Now the Chronograph's not in here. There's a couple other chronos here. The Sea Chrono. Let's see what that's all about. Get up in your business. It's not the one I have, but comparable. You can tell this is different because it's got this sub-dial at 6 o'clock is rather petite. Another unique little watch book for your library. Eminently useful if you're hunting this brand. Why not? And there we have it, our second episode of Portraits. Watch Portraits and Shadows. Fabulous book from Yuri. And a couple unique pieces. And with Zodiac getting back in the news over the past couple years with their new offerings, it might just be time to pick up some of their vintage pieces before they skyrocket like everything else in the watch industry. Hope you enjoyed this little episode and this hobby of ours. Have a great night.